The following is an episode of the Brawdy Show, and listener discretion is strongly advised. Because if you're easily triggered, outraged, offended, maligned, mortified, insulted, or otherwise verbally injured, if you're constantly looking for a bubble, a safe space, some training wheels, or some water wings muffin to get through your day, take it up with a therapist. I'm not your shrink.
Thanks for listening to the Brian Brawdy Show. It's time to mortal up.
Once again, as the announcer says, welcome. The announcer, like he's not a friend. As Bill says, welcome to the Brian Brawdy Show. It is time to mortal up. There goes the keyboard. Oh, man, these things really are wireless. There goes the keyboard. But now, time to team up also is what we're doing for this evening. So thank you so very much for joining us. As I said, howdy to you, Miss Putnam. Thank you so very much. We have so much to get to this evening. Speaking of so much, time to team up. And quickly, I just wanted to share the story with you because every time I see the rhinoceros gather around like that, I want to share a quick little story. And we've got so much going on, I can't go on about it. But I'm mountain biking with my wife, Ashley, a few years back. One of the greatest things I've ever seen in nature. Now, we weren't in Africa, so it wasn't rhinos, but it was with an animal, with a mammal, with a massive mammal that'll gore you just as quick as it'll look at you, right? Especially if you get too close. It was with some bison, and we were where were we? We were up in the middle of the country, but up north, right? Like in the Dakotas, maybe. And we were mountain biking, and we came around a bend on this mountain biking path, and all of a sudden, probably 100 yards off in the distance. But we were closing kind of fast because we were mountain biking, right? But like 100 yards off in the distance were a group of bison. Now, why it always triggers, and I remember the same thing when I saw that, is that this bison, and it was encoded in nature to do it. You ready? The moment they saw us coming around, the lead bison, the biggest one by far, the biggest buffalo in the herd, came to the center of the path, kind of stomped, moved his head side by side, started kind of like moving. You knew he was getting ready to charge. But here's what fascinated me about it. You know, we instantly were like, oh, holy cow. Jammed on the brakes, got off the mountain bikes, and stood there for a second, tried to backpedal a little bit. But here's what's always stuck with me, and it was fascinating. Two more bison kind of came to the left and to the right of the bigger of the two. Of the biggest bison there. Two more came to the left and right. The little ones, the baby bison, maybe a year, 2 years old, noticeably smaller, they instinctively ran to the center of the path, and the other bison, Wayne, if you can show the time to team up picture again of the rhino, the other bison formed a circle, just like this one. There are probably 6 or 7 of them facing us, formed a circle to protect their young. They teamed up. They were going to do whatever they could to protect the young because they thought we were predators, right? Probably bouncing down on a mountain bike. Figured, I don't know, maybe they figured we were, maybe they figured we were wolves. Whatever it was, they instinctively jumped, challenged us, circled the young, but the young knew to run to the center. The young knew to get to the back end and let the big bulls, let the bigger bison handle the assault, which they viewed us as the assault. So when I saw this picture and I thought, time to team up, there's all kinds of things for you and I to try to team up with now and think about putting our children and our grandchildren behind us and getting ready to jump in. And who knows what this election's going to bring. Either way, we're going to have to team up. We're going to have to mortal up. We're going to have to channel our natural resources and get out on top, much the same as these rhinos did, much the same as the bison did for Ashley and I in the Dakotas. Absolutely amazing, and it's something that I will never forget. Let me thank our sponsors this evening, in addition to thanking you for joining us on YouTube. We're broadcast live over there. Thank you so very much. The numbers continue to grow, and that's because of you. Thank you so much for following us on YouTube. Also here on Facebook as well. Thank you very much. Now, if you're listening to tonight's show, like later tonight or tomorrow, and you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or iHeartRadio, or over on mortalup.com, you're catching Radio Bry over there. Thank you so very much for hanging with us. And don't forget, you can send us a text, 833-667-8251, 833-MORTAL, and then the numeral 1. It's true. We open the phone lines at the bottom of the hour, so you get to say hello to Wayne. We open the phone lines at the bottom of the hour, but you can text us throughout the show. And if you have another instance in nature where everything came together to protect their young, we would love to hear about it. Now, here's the other thing. I only have a few minutes left to do this in this segment. Wayne, if you would, let's jump right to tonight's low-life making headlines. Lowlifes making headlines, or as we like to call it around here, brains that make your blood boil. Here's your brittle brain atop a balsa wood spine for today. Blood boil. Well, this is kind of like a bonus, all right? Because here's and I'm not much for conspiracy theories, right? But here's mine. You want to hear mine? This is why Nancy makes lowlifes making headlines, in my estimate. And now you're thinking, Brian, there's a long list of different things, right? Even because she has a face mask that matches her polyester leisure suit. Just drives me crazy when people try to mix and match the colors. Like they shop at the face mask garaminal section at Sears. It just makes, like I said, makes my blood boil. But here's my conspiracy. Here's my theory. And remember, because this show has a history, Radio Bry has a history of saying things only to see them come true. You remember, and we'll get to our good friend Steve Scully the other day, who, I love Steve Scully. He has led to so much writing, so many cool things happening. But let's stick with Nancy Pelosi before we get to Steve Scully. So here's the thing. You want to hear my theory? How many days do we have left, Wayne, till the election? A couple weeks, 3 weeks, sometime in November, right? So a couple, 3 weeks?
I believe 20 some odd days.
20 some odd days. So let's say tomato, 3 weeks. So why would she be busy? Why? Ask yourself, why? And I know this is the cop in me. Why would she be busy trying to come up with some kind of shenanigans? Chicanery is the word Joe Biden uses. Why would she be coming up with some chicanery to beef up, if you will, the 25th Amendment, which means you get to take a president out if he's incapacitated in any way, right? With only 21 days left, if she's confident she's going to win the election, and it sounds like if you listen to Democrats, it's confident they're going to win, right? But why then? If she's only 21 days away, why isn't she busy planning, getting the mask to match her cocktail or her ball gown that she'll be wearing to all the inaugural things, right? Wouldn't you spend your last 21 days doing that? Why would you try to oust a guy that politically could be ousted in 3 weeks? Here's my theory. And remember, I want you to say, ooh, you know what? I heard it here first. Just like I predicted when I saw President Trump come down the escalator all those years ago with Melania, and I said to a group of friends, there's your next president. Here's my prediction. The reason, and she's crafty as a fox, right? Just crafty. IQ off she's got an IQ to match all the different folds on her. Just never mind. I'm not supposed to make a turkey neck joke for people that have folds that cover them up with masks or scarves or whatever the MO is, right? So forget, I wasn't doing a turkey neck joke no matter what I say, no matter what Wayne tells you. We weren't doing a turkey neck joke. All right. So, but here's the thing. She's very crafty. 1 minute. Thank you, Wayne. She's very, very crafty. And I'll tell you why, because she doesn't think enough people are watching her. She doesn't think enough of us understand what's going on. So in a way, it's super smart. And in a way, it's super offensive because you're going, well, wait a minute, just how gullible does she think we are? Why would you pull off the 25th Amendment shenanigans, right? So we're going to do this quick little thing, and we're going to come back, and I'll tell you why she's pulling it off, and I'll tell you why I don't think it's a conspiracy theory, why I think this is what she's calculating. I'll tell you just on the other side. Celebrity voices impersonated. That's amazing. It's uncanny. It sounds just like me. I know, isn't that amazing? It does. It sounded just like me, Wayne. What hair I had stood up on the back of my neck. All right, so here's what I think Nancy's up to. Crafty Nancy, and why she makes today's low lifes making headlines. I think she's busy getting, right, the beefed up version of the 25th Amendment, because if she's confident that Joe Biden is going to win, right? If she's confident, then she plans on using this supercharged, this bionic 25th Amendment thing against Biden if he gets elected. Let me say good evening to Candace. Candace, thank you so very much. They believe it was sad. Distractions for the sheeple. I'm with you, Candace. I got you. Peace right at you. Thank you so very much for joining us. Here's my theory. She plans on using her bionic 25th against Joe Biden. Biden will get elected. She'll say he's clearly not mentally playing with the full deck. I don't care who you're going to vote for. I don't care who your anti-vote is, right? I don't. I really don't. But you have to admit, he's not playing with the full deck. I think Nancy's thought is to use this new beefed up, this new turbocharged 25th, so that she can then say, oh, it's time for President Biden to step aside and focus on his own health, spend some time with his family, making Kamala Harris president. Now, they're from the same state of California. You ready, Wayne? You want to hear my my chess match? You want to hear what I think she's up to?
Go for it.
Okay, I think Kamala Harris, being recently appointed as president, will now pick Nancy Pelosi as vice president. And if you think about it, two women holding the top two highest offices in the country, if not the world, what a great way to guarantee in 4 years, given the way people vote, right? It's all a cult of personality, is my opinion. I think she plans on using the turbocharged 25th against her own president. And then, once Kamala is sworn in, Kamala's going to move to make Nancy Pelosi president. Remember, you heard it here first. Wayne, what say you?
I guess we're just going to have to sit back and see what goes down.
I know, I'd sit back, but did you notice when I do, my chair squeaks?
Yeah, I know. So does mine.
Is that coming? Oh, does that? Okay, you can hear that? All right, so now that's perfect reason to sit up straight. So that's my conspiracy theory du jour. That's what we're focusing on today. Why she's the brain that makes your blood boil. Low life's making headlines, but I think that's the plan. So mark this date. What is it? Today is, it's a Monday. I know that. What is it, Wayne? Like the 12th? What is it?
October 12th.
October 12th. Mark this date on your calendars, October 12th. And what episode is this show, Wayne? In case anyone wants to search back to this.
519.
519, episode 519, October 12th. Remember, you heard it here first. Kamala Harris will be seated as president because of the turbocharged 25th that Nancy's busy cooking up in her stew pot. And then Nancy will be promoted to vice president once they say, oh, it's time for Joe. He's been such a great public servant for 75 years or however long he's been around. It's time for him to spend time with his family, circle his wagons mentally. That's the chicanery that I think is going on. How do you like that? As a conspiracy theory. If that doesn't get this video pulled down, I don't know what is. I can hear people leaving right now to contact Mug Pamphlet and going, did you hear this? Talk about pulling a show down. This should be the one that gets pulled down, damn it. Darn it. I'm trying to clean up my cussing now that Wayne actually has the buzzer. Oh, I'm trying to clean up my cussing. So that, Wayne, that's my theory. That's why she makes low lifes making headlines. Now, I want to go into quickly our follow-up into our last low life making headlines because there's some breaking news there as well. And also, it would be, I really owe Steve Scully. I really do, because he's helped us create 2 new segments. So let's throw his mugshot up. Mugshot. Is my hair. He won't be smiling much longer. Nice to see you. Yeah, no, he looks like Howdy Doody. Yeah, no. He looks like Andy in Toy Story, right? If you put a hat on him and dubbed in Tom Hanks' voice, that's exactly who you'd be looking at. Steve Scully, because here's the thing. He went ahead. I mean, it worked the first 2 times, Wayne, right? Just like John Candy in the movie Splash, when he would throw the change down on the ground, and when he was picking it up, he'd look up under women's dresses, right? And when Tom Hanks said to him, Hey, what are you doing? And now the older John Candy, he's been doing this scam for years, dropping his spare pocket change on the ground, looking up. John Candy says, hey, when I find something that works, I stick with it. So here's Steve Scully going, well, I tried it in 2012. I tried it in 2013. I just said, oh, well, somebody must have hacked my account. Interestingly enough, the hacker had a change of heart, had some remorse, and decided to pull the tweet in question down. But right, he was Friday's Low Life's making headlines. But here's my thank you. And we didn't have a picture. You just can't pop this on Wayne with just a couple minutes before we air. So we wanted to get his picture up here because he has sparked 2 new segments. Now, the first of the 2 segments we talked about last week, and Wayne did an excellent graphic called Jousting with Journalists. And there you go. Oh, I love this one. Right? I absolutely, it's one of those stuff. And no, the lance is not appearing to spear a photographer, a still photographer, right in the head. So everyone can just, say what you're going to say. But there's just so many journalists, so little time. So Steve Scully helped spark Jousting with Journalists, and the newest one premiering right now. You have heard it here first. Our newest one called The Coward Chronicles. Now, here's why Steve. Oh, look at that. I love it. Oh, man, I'm just scared. I'm a coward. Here's why he helped spark The Coward Chronicles. Here's my theory. And it's for everyone that puts up a tweet, gets in some hot water, and then pulls it down and says, oh, it must have been a hacker. Or just pulls it down and ignores it. If you have the courage to type out a tweet, then for goodness sakes, have the courage to stand by it. If you're going to get smacked around because of something that you thought, all these people want to be stand-up comedians, right, Wayne? They want to go, oh, let me type this. Oh, this will get their goose. I'll show them. Oh, look how smart I am. And then the backlash, which is why we love Counterpunch. Oh, you know what, Wayne? This would be a good time to thank our sponsors, both Counterpunch Media and Certifiable Brilliance. Thank you also very much for being a sponsor of the Brian Brawdy Show. Super appreciate it here at Radio Bry. But in any event, right, for the backlash, for the counterpunch, they don't have any courage. They're cowards. They have no spines, no backbones. They're good enough. What was it? I forget the author now, but he talked about, he has the courage of the criminal. He can do the crime, but then doesn't stick around, doesn't have the courage to withstand the punishment. Right? So if you're going to tweet something, if you're going to text something, how much better to go, yeah, maybe I should wait 10 seconds before I hit tweet or enter or this or that, right? Instead of sending it, then when somebody raises an issue, someone gives you some kind of static, then you want to retract it, you want to pull it down. What, it wasn't funny enough for you, you coward? So the Coward Chronicles, and I owe this to Steve Scully, and we most certainly owe Jousting with Journalists, which will be our next, but who knows? Low Life's making headlines is so easy. Jousting with Journalists will be our individual kind of like segment throughout the weekend. And of course, we'll be going back to the Maleficent 7. And don't forget, you can go to mortalup.com if you haven't already. Thank you for everyone that's subscribed, by the way. Go to mortalup.com and you can drop us a quick note. Let us know who you think should be included in the Maleficent 7. And then we'll be running with the Maleficent 7 on Friday nights, just to give everybody an idea as to what's going on. Let me say hello to Darren. Are you able to share the links? I don't know how to do it. Okay, let me see. Oh, so Darren, thank you so very much. Darren and Candace are going back and forth about sharing links. Thank you. I don't know either, so I'll be learning right along with Candace. Darren, nice to see you. Thank you so very much. So here's what I wanted to do. So we can get out of this segment, and I have just about 30 seconds left. We'll get out of this segment. Let me thank Steve Scully for being the coward that he is, because 2 segments were born out of his out of his balsa wood spine, if you will. A brittle brain atop a balsa wood spine. 2 segments, Jousting with Journalists. I'm eternally grateful, Steve, if you're listening. And also the Coward Chronicles. We would not have come up with these segments if it weren't for your cowardice. So thank you so very, very much. Wayne?
Portions of this broadcast have been pre-recorded.
Why? because you can't get these people to hit a call time. They're the worst. Nah, I'm just kidding. We love our guests. Do love our guests. I will tell you that for certain. Oh, man. But we got to pre-record some because some people are going, oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll hit a call time. Maybe you sit around, you're waiting for them to call, and you go, hey, what is up? You're watching the clock, right? You're reminding yourself all the time. Uh-oh. Let's see. Oh, it's live now. The live video has ended. Uh-oh. I don't know, Wayne. Maybe they found us. Hey, Brian. Nice to see you. Darren. Hello, kind sir. Right back at you. All right, so I'm getting a message here, Wayne, that the video feed has stopped on the Brian Brawdy Show. And you know, I was joking going, what's the chances that Mug Pamphlet would come in here? So if you're still listening on YouTube, if you're still listening on mortalup.com, thank you so very much for joining with us. But I'm getting a signal, Wayne, that says the live video has ended. Those sneaky little something or others. Is that us or is that them, Wayne?
No.
There's a conspiracy theory for you.
We're up and running. I'm watching it live.
Oh, you're watching it? Yeah. So over on the site, it says this live video has ended. It will be available to watch shortly in your timeline. Wouldn't that just be hysterical?
On which site?
Oh, yeah. On, oh, no, now we're back. The Brian Brawdy Show, time to team up. Wouldn't it have been hysterical if they were able, their fact checkers were able to get in and go, fake news, fake news. Of course it's fake news. It's a conspiracy theory. It's my reading the tea leaves. I'm like Kreskin, right? Johnny Carson reading an envelope. Oh, what did it say? What did it say? They're going to use the turbocharged 25th against Joe Biden if he's elected. So there you go. Oh, Darren says, commie tube. Brian says we should be so lucky. Now, I'm assuming Brian means we should be so lucky that this live stream was canceled. Right back at you, B, but thank you very much. Evening, Brian. Oh, that's another evening. That's the other Brian. I'm going, Wayne, it was nice to see you. I've been talking to you all day. You don't have to say evening to me. All right, so that was a conspiracy theory. If you've missed it, we were busy thanking our good friend Steve Scully for being a brittle brain atop of balsa wood spine because of all the different things. And here's why it's such a big deal. As you know, for me, I don't like cowards because I find most cowards to be bullies. Right? And you know how I feel about bullies, probably the same way you do. So if you're going to pull off something you think makes you really smart, really savvy, really just a cutting edge intellect, and you tweet it out or you post it on Facebook or you do this or that, only to catch some backlash, only to catch a counterpunch, and then run like the little coward that you are, delete the post. And even when it's deleted, you go, oh, I must have been hacked. That must have been it. It's got to be somebody else. At least have the courage. At least have the spine. At least have, right? At least mortal up enough to admit, yeah, I made a mistake. Probably wasn't the sharpest thing to say, but I'm not going to run and hide. I'm not going to. When you delete a tweet, when you delete a Facebook post because you're catching hot water for it, it's no different than running and hiding under your bed. It's no different when you were a little kid than running and hiding in the back of your closet. You know what I mean? And, oh, good, Wayne. So please let us know. Yeah, and here's another thing. Let's keep those addresses coming. If you want to send Wayne, and that's just while supplies last, send Wayne a message. Let him know your address if you'll trust him with it. And here's the disclaimer. Wayne will never share the address with me. So you don't have to worry about going, oh, that was a mistake. I never should have let Brian know my address, right? Share it with Wayne. He's a good guy. You don't have anything to worry about with Wayne. You share your address and we'll go ahead and get you a T-shirt and we'll pay the postage, right? No. Oh, you get a T-shirt for free. Just pay $79.95 shipping and handling. None of that. We'll go ahead, especially the people here in the thread, this or that. If we haven't gotten you a T-shirt yet, we most certainly will. And that's our thank you for hanging out and watching us go. Oh, I know what else I wanted to do, Wayne. I wanted to announce I saw something. Two people very near and dear to my heart are celebrating an anniversary today. And I wanted to wish Henry and Rita the best of anniversaries. I believe, if I read the post correctly, 8 years ago today, they decided to move to Belize. So happy anniversary. I think it's great to two of the nicest, sweetest, most caring, and you know me, Wayne, both of them can recycle a shotgun. like it's going out of style. Yes, sir.
It was Ecuador.
Oh, was it Ecuador?
Yeah.
What did I say? Belize? Oh, sorry. Ecuador. Well, yeah. You know what? I love Belize. Not as much as I like Ecuador, but I have to take them up on the invitation to come and see him. It was Ecuador. Thank you, Wayne, very much. I'll tell you something. You know, it's interesting that you say that because a neighbor of mine today came over and said, "Oh, Brian, I thank you so much." And this particular person is a widow and a little bit older, 70 some, right? You know, a little bit older. And I don't like it that this particular person does anything that I could help with, right? Like, so I like to clean out the leaves in the gutter. I like to cut down the trees. I like to do any of the heavy lifting so that this particular person doesn't have to do it. So today I walk over there and I said, "Oh, I really like your porch." And she goes, "Oh, you mean the way I have these bricks laid out?" And I go, "Yeah, it looks great." And she goes, "I thank you again." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, I thank you for laying all those bricks down. I think it looks spectacular." Wayne, do you know? Now, I know this is a cry for help where everyone says, does he really still have bouts of amnesia? Wayne, do you know? I had no clue I had done that little brick patio thing, probably only 20, 30 bricks, right? A big 1 foot by 1 foot squares. I thought she was pulling my leg. I have no memory. And it was like 2 months ago. I have no memory. Don't tell anyone in my family. They all worry about me. I have no memory of having built that porch. Is that wild?
I don't know, Brian.
Yeah, and people say, "Oh, don't worry about that. That happens when you get old." I'm not that old. I have no memory. Now, it's not like the last time I had the bout of transglobal amnesia where I took a shower, went downstairs in my boxers, ordered dinner, and carried on a conversation with the food delivery chick, girl, lady, young woman, well, whoever, right? It's not like that. I couldn't remember. I don't remember. It's like my mind goes back and it's just, now, who knows if I remember in the moment? I don't know. Maybe I did. But I can't get my mind to go 1 second further back than it does, and I don't remember that, which is why I think now I'm always harping, right? Some might say ad nauseum. I'm always harping on philosophical amnesia, where you forget who you are because I know of where I speak. It's just horrible not to be able to think back and go, "Oh, yeah, I nailed it." And you go, "Wait a minute, I don't remember it. Here I am getting thanks for building a porch." Now, apparently I had the acumen to build a porch. It was still there. It was a rock little porch. It was sand in between, right? Well, I had the acumen to do it at the time. I just have no memory of it. Let me see. Candace says, "Rita and Henry are the sweetest people ever, and they are going to adopt me." Get in line, sister. You're going to be my younger sister. They're adopting me first. You say Ecuador's a nice place, right, Wayne?
It certainly is.
It certainly is. Yes, Candace, get in line. You'll be their second adoption. You know, they probably want a boy and a girl. I don't know. I'm just saying. But they are great people. And happy anniversary. 8 years ago today, they moved to Ecuador, and you couldn't meet more rock solid, nice people. You just couldn't. So thank you so very much for all your support. And I'm glad. I hope you guys are out celebrating your anniversary. What a great one. Brian says, "When you were in the hood this month, you can rake all the pine needles you care to forget." I'll record it for you. Right, if I had a tape of every time you and I have been together and I've forgotten what we've done when we were, you and I would be YouTube stars, brother. But I'm in. I'll take it. Speaking of raking, I got to tell you, it's back-breaking work. You know what I've been involved in lately? All right. Well, let me do this. Let's run to the bottom of the hour because I want other people to be able to call in, text in. So let's run to the bottom of the hour, and I'll tell you how I spent the last couple of days. I've bumped head on into the right. If you're a vegan, these are the vegetarians of the insect kingdom. You would not believe how voracious these predators are. All right, let's run to the bottom of the hour. We will be right back. Wayne?
You're listening to The Brian Brawdy Show. Why? Because you know the truth when you hear it. He'll be right back.
to the Brian Brawdy Show, brought to you by our good friends at Counterpunch Media and Certifiable Brilliance. It's time to buckle up. All right, thank you for sticking around through the break. It just gives me a chance to get a little something to sip on. Check in with Wayne, see if anything else is going on. So I wanted to tell you, it's funny that Brian says rake. You go into the hood, you can rake all the pine needles you care to forget about. He'll videotape it. Let me tell you this. I've been in it's a pitched battle, right? I'm getting ready for the day after Election Day, right? I've been in a battle. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I've always thought, you know what? It's only a lawn. I don't want the chemical runoff. I don't want to poison poor little fish that might live in the rivers. So I'm just not going to do chemicals. I'm not going to chemically treat, right? I'm not a big fan of artificial food coloring. I say that as I drink a Diet Coke, so I don't know, maybe I am. But in any event, I don't want any toxins leaching off my property and harming the dog, harming the kids, harming the neighbor's kids. So I thought, you know what? Forget it. I'm not going to do chemicals, right? Right, Wayne? I'm not going to put down any poisons in my grass because what could really happen? So, Wayne, I know you're thinking to yourself, Brian, why do you always say you can't spell Brian without the I in idiot? Let me tell you why. Because it's been in my front yard like Club Med for grubs. Like, right? Like the Villages, right? I think they're in Florida. The Villages, senior living, whatever it is. These grubs attacked my yard. They're like, it's like the caddies in Caddyshack when they open the pool for 15 minutes a year, 15 minutes a season, and they all get to dive in. I'm talking 6, 7, 8 grubs a square foot. Lawn absolutely devastated. So when Brian says, hey, you can rake all the pine needles you want, I got blisters. You should see these blisters, right? Look at that. I don't do that kind of yard work. I got 20-year landscaping fabric. Oh, thank you, Candace. That'll be something to do now because these grubs are unbelievable. And you know what their favorite meal is, Wayne? I know, on the edge of his seat, he's mesmerized, waiting to hit the open phone line button. So I'll have to let him go. Let me tell you this. You know what their favorite food is? Grass shoots, right? So they have devastated the front yard. So, Brian, I'll take the hydrogen peroxide, wash my hands in it every night to kill whatever infections I got growing in these blisters. Grubs don't like beer. Candace, I got to get landscaping, and I have to give up my beer? Get some chickens. I like that. But you know what, Sarah? I got to tell you, I live, not unlike you. You guys live just in a beautiful place. All right, Wayne, you're back on. Are we getting ready to open the phone lines?
We certainly are.
All right, let's open the phone lines. Then I want to respond to Sarah and her chickens.
The phone lines are open. Now's your chance to mortal up and give Brian a shout because your opinion deserves to be heard. Dial toll-free 1-833-MORTAL-1. That's 833-MORTAL-1.
All right, thank you so much, Bill. In addition, don't forget you can text us at that same number, the hieroglyphics, 833-667-8251. 667-8251. I got to ask Candace, you say grubs don't like beer. Is there any chance they don't like Miller Lite? Because I'm with them. Miller Lite, it's overrated. I can't stand the taste. It's just, right? So let me know if there's, right, maybe it's like some other kind of like Iron City Light, something like that, right? People say, oh, you got to get Michelob Light. There's only 7 calories a gallon. Let's hope that grubs don't like that beer. Right? Because then it'd just be like killing a kindred spirit. I can't stand that stuff either. So now Sarah says, get some chickens. Sarah, that's a great idea. And I love your place. I really do. You have to know that. I just love Sarah's place because guess what? She can have chickens. She can have goats. She can have horses. She can have all these other things. Pet possum will do it. Sarah's probably got a pet possum. Sarah's a very caring person. If it's an animal, she's going to help it. So she's got all kinds of animals. But living as I do under the direction of a homeowners association, I know you're thinking, Bri, what were you thinking? I don't know. All right, brain tumor, can't tell you, don't know. But it was born just like Steve Scully, the coward, being the birth, right? Being the launch pad for jousting with journalists, and also the Coward Chronicles, just like you got to thank Steve Scully from C-SPAN, right? I owe my time under the boot of a housing co-op, right, or whatever it's called, public, you live in as a housing association, the housing authority, whatever it is. I'm sure I'm not allowed to have chickens. But what was born out of that was my tagline: big government doesn't live in distant capitals. It lives in little minds. Homeowners Association, HOA. Thank you very much. Appreciate the text. That's what I'm trying to think about. Can you just imagine, Wayne? I would love it. Can you imagine if I had a front yard? I'm going to take Candace and I'm going to take Sarah's word for it. I have a front yard full of drunk possums and chickens. They're busy drinking all the Miller Lite that I can afford to give them, right? Can you imagine how quickly my homeowners association would come after me if I had possums and other related fowl all drunk on Amstel Light running around my front yard?
Well, they couldn't do anything about the possums because those are wild. They're out there.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So you're safe there. The chickens, you'd probably have a notice within 15 minutes.
I don't know. You give a chicken some Amstel Light, it'll be pretty wild, I'll bet. I've never seen a drunk chicken, right? But maybe that's where they come with the thought about chicken, like running around like a chicken with their head cut off, right? Maybe it's a chicken running around full of Iron City Light. I don't know. But I'm telling you, service chickens. Sarah, you're brilliant. I love you. Okay, so here's the thing. I think in the city they're allowed, but no roosters. Sarah's got roosters, I'll bet. Wayne, it's brilliant. We should Sarah's absolutely right, right? I'm busy getting on the bus, getting on the airplane with my service animal, which is a moose. We probably still don't have the picture of that, Wayne. I would love to show that sometime. But I have a service animal, right? Brian says, not to mention your therapist. My therapist stopped betting on me a long time ago. My therapist, look, the last time it was a therapist not that long ago, my therapist was like, look, what are we kidding? There's no fixing you. But I do like the gravy train that is you coming once a week, right? So, so why don't we just keep this thing going, right? And so that way you'll have someone to talk to other than Wayne. You'll have someone to talk to, and everything will go just perfect. So my therapist doesn't even put up with me anymore, other than puts up with me long enough to cash the check. Oh, but Sarah's absolutely right. Therapy chickens. So I don't have to carry that moose anymore on the airplane. But I have to tell you, I think, even though Candace says she's not sure that they'd be allowed, but I think a service rooster, so that if anyone breaks my 6-foot bubble, the greatest thing to come from COVID-19 since the Wuhan wheeze, I think you ought to have a service rooster. And if everyone breaks your 6-foot bubble, the rooster just kind of like, caw, caw, whatever noise a rooster makes, right? But those roosters, they can be mean. So that's what I like about it, right? What do you think, Wayne? The service rooster. So not only, I know he's giving me the finger. I know, no, not that finger, everybody else. The other finger that tells me we're going to run very quickly. We will be right back, and I'll tell you my idea about a service rooster.
The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent.
Yeah, including me, apparently, right? So anyone that wants to call in, you don't have to admit you even know me. Don is most certainly on to something here. He goes, give the grubs, and by extension, I think he means the possums, the roosters, and the chickens, give them some Schlitz, and you save the Beck's Dark for yourself. Now we've got a theory. Now we've got a plan. No conspiracy theory. Like I said earlier, that Nancy Pelosi is trying to figure out a way to become president, like Alexander Haig when President Reagan was shot. I'm in control until the vice president's plane lands. Sounded like Richard Nixon, Tricky Dick. But that's a great idea. Give the Schlitz to, now, my apologies, right? I don't want anyone to give Don any hate mail. Of course, he meant Schlitz Light. I'm sure that there's Schlitz drinkers that like Schlitz. He meant watered down Schlitz Light, or give those to the grubs, the chickens, the possums, the roosters, and you keep some of the Beck's Dark for yourself. I'm on. I like that. Don's always been I've known Don a lot of years. Always a very, very sharp guy. That's exactly what I'm going to do. and maybe some Johnny Walker Blue Label, right? Just for after the Beck's dark runs out. So that's where we are right now. When Brian says he'll have me raking pine needles, the war on grubs, they're just a predator. They eat grass roots, which reminds me of the band when I was a little kid, but not those grass roots. They eat the actual roots of your grass. And when you peel back, your grass comes off like a carpet, right? And there you go. There's these little white, fat, little brown-headed grubs with claws just lying around enjoying their time at Club Med. They got a little cocktail umbrella, right? So they don't get too much sun. So I've got to tell you, where before I never wanted to put the chemicals down, now I'm like calling a napalm strike. I couldn't care less. It's been like 3 or 4 days where I'm out digging up dead grass because of the grubs. It's unbelievable. They are just proficient beyond imagine. Very, very proficient predators. They know a good stalk of grass when they see it. Give them natty. I'm with you, Candace. Rooster's good protection, too. See, that's all I'm saying. Sarah says, small form at City Hall and HOA. Yeah, small form, but not, agreed, Sarah, not like the bureaucratic behemoth, not like the legislative Leviathan. I get all that, like that you find in state capitals, and heaven to goodness you find in Washington, D.C. Now, Sarah brought up a good point last time we chatted here in the thread. I'm not talking about everyone, right? It's like when we talk about public servants, of course, when I talk about public servants, I'm talking about politicians, not real true public servants, firemen, paramedics, right? Police officers, doctors, nurses, anyone that works to help a city out smoothly, tunnel authority, garbage authority, recycling authority, none of those. Brian says cheap tequila kills a lot. You know, it's funny, Brian, when you said cheap tequila, the worm in the bottom of a bottle of tequila, as I know, as you and I both know, the worm looks not unlike a grub. It really is. The worms in the bottom of a bottle of tequila are a little browner than that. So there you go. All right, Wayne, thank you so very much for the reminder. Last episode we kicked off, we got a very nice compliment. We talked about my new nickname, and Wayne put together an absolutely stellar graphic. Wayne, do you still got that graphic? Oh, there you go. Brian's new nickname, Strush.
And we have the audio.
Oh, we have the. Can we hear the audio one more time? I'm such a Z.
I've been up, I've been down. Take my word, my way round. I ain't asking for much. I said, Lord, take me downtown. I'm just looking for
Strush. Yeah, brilliant editing job we did there. That was great. Yes, a Strush. So thank you very much for that compliment. That song takes me all the way back to the mid-'70s, believe it or not. Love Take Me Downtown. I'm just looking for some Strush. Thank you, boys at ZZ Top. I super appreciate it. No, it's not thrush. All right, Wayne, a little bit of a wrench. Candace may have just thrown a wrench into our plans. She says it sounds like a disease, not thrush. So we might have to strush. Stush? Maybe we should make it stush? S-T-U-S-H? I don't know. We'll think about it. What does everyone think? Beautiful strush. Thank you very much. So let's throw it out to people here in the feed. Or, Wayne, maybe that could be over at mortalup.com. Maybe that should be our poll question. Should it be strush? Or to Candace's point, does that sound a lot like a disease? Or stush, right? Because the ZZ Top song is T-U-S-H, right? Maybe we just turn it into S-T-U-S-H without the R. Stush. I say, love, take them down, strut your stuff. Oh, there you go. See, there you go. Sarah's helping. I can't ever tell. Sometimes it's Sarah, sometimes it's Bart. So whoever it is, thank you very much. And thank you for the idea of the therapy rooster. Yeah, you'll have to see. Bri, will you remind me when I see you next? See if they got any extra roosters that will make a 9-hour drive. that can handle the drive back, because I'm going to get a therapy rooster. And when the housing authority, what's it called? Housing association, right? Housing it's supposed to be HO. See, there goes my mind. It's leaving me already. Whenever the HOA shows up, I'll just have a paper printed out that says this is my therapy rooster, right? If you can get on an airplane, Strew Rush, no, I can't, no. It's got to be, I can't even, Strew Rush, nah, I like it, just kidding, Strush, man. No, so, Strush, no, it's like strike three. So we should go Stush, Stush. I'm just looking for some Stush. I think that's how we should do it. I think it should be Stush. Maybe we can see if we can pull that off. So, right, if people can get on an airplane with like a therapy pig, a therapy Shetland pony, I don't know. Has anyone ever seen? Don't forget the phone lines are open. You can give us a call, 833-MORTAL and the numeral 1. How do we come to that title? Because I believe you're the number one mortal, Mortal 1, or 833-667-8251, 833-667-8251. Give us a call. What's the strangest therapy animal, notwithstanding if you've seen me get on with my therapy moose, that is, it was the coolest thing when I got the moose. They said, well, we're not really sure if you like this moose. And I go, he's huge. I love this moose. What are you talking about? Well, he's constantly in rut, so he can be a little hard to deal with. I go, a therapy moose that's constantly in rut? I'm all over it. Do you have a twin brother or sister? Let's go. So with all the different animals that you get to bring on a plane as a therapy animal, as a comfort animal, what if I had a therapy rooster? Sarah, that's a brilliant idea. Wayne, we got to get to work on that, right? Who do we got to call? Like, what is it? Not Future Farmers of America, not FFA. Who is it? The flight line? What's the federal agency that does flying? FHA.
FAA.
What is it? FDA? Food and Drug? No.
FAA.
FAA. Yeah, let's get to the FAA and see if I can get a therapy rooster. I think it's brilliant. Because if you break the 6-foot bubble, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, Wayne, but I like the 6-foot bubble, right? And I attach on top of it a 3-second rule. Because, like, there was a young lady that bumped into me the other day at the store, and she was all apologetic. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't bump into you. And I go, that's okay. And the whole time I'm talking to her, I'm shaking my hands like my one hand, my right hand, like an NBA ref, going 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, because of the 3-second rule. She didn't get a lane violation because she came into my 6-foot bubble, but before I could go 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, she kept moving. So she didn't violate my airspace, right? So my rooster, my new therapy rooster, would have known not to go on guard. I love it. FAA is what you say. All right, the FAA. We'll stay on top of it and let you know if I can get a therapy rooster through TSA, right? It is the TSA, so. Sarah says they can be mean. That's the whole thing I'm counting on. Think you have a better chance with a hen than a rooster. Now, I need a mean one. Now, Sarah, I'm all open. I'm open for discussion. I'm not a tough guy. If you have a hen with a nasty disposition, I'll take a hen. Now, and a hen lays eggs, right? So if you get on the airplane with a therapy hen, and then you get to the hotel and you're hungry, she could lay an egg. Is that how it works? Hens are the ones that lay eggs, right, Sarah? So do you happen to have a hen with just a chip on her shoulder, right? Just a chip on her wing, a nasty disposition, and she still lays eggs? Like, that's the best of both worlds, because you're right. If you have a therapy rooster, Wayne, what was I thinking? You're not going to get any eggs for an omelet. Sarah's always thinking. I like it. Okay, so, Wayne, forget it. When you call the FAA, I need a therapy hen. A therapy leg-aying hen is what we're going to try to get on. Wouldn't that be a great bit? If I could catch the audio of going through a TSA agent and there's a hen, and the TSA agent says, "What the hell are you doing, boy?" I go, oh, what, did I have something, a bottle of more than 3 ounces? And the TSA agent will go, "No." And I'll go, oh, why? Was there a weapon in my bag that I forgot about? "No, you have a chicken." And I go, "Oh no, she's very sensitive. You don't." No, she's my therapy hen. What do you think about that? All right. Well, so in other words, everyone, we're still kind of thinking about it. Or you can egg people on the plane. Now that, Jen, see, Jen's thinking, right? Egg people on the plane. That way, when my plane lands, I'll get a ride by the FBI. That's a great idea. What were you doing? Well, I was throwing eggs at the cockpit. Why? Well, what was I supposed to do with the eggs? There was 2 hours left in the flight. I wanted to see if I could nail the cockpit. I figured the cockpit was a better thing to throw an egg at than one of the flight attendants. And look, come on, let's be honest. You have never met a flight attendant you didn't want to hurl a hen's egg at? Please. Well, I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
I don't know either. That can't be me. I get everything turned off here. Well, see, that's just how it goes. All right, Wayne, what do you say? We've got 9 minutes left. I'm a little over time. Let's run to the reason why we do this show. And I should say, Wayne, have we heard back from Mug Pamphlet because we asked them to spell our name right? Have we heard back from Mug Pamphlet since we put in that request?
Not yet. By the way, your new graphic is up.
Stush! Wayne, thank you so very much. Okay, so let me say, Brian says that will be the final nail in your mental confinement coffin. Well, see, I'll be like Howard. I'll be confined, right? Because he's worried about catching COVID and dying. Okay, Brian's new nickname, Stush. Wayne, thank you so very much. The new nickname is up. Love take you downtown. I'm just looking for some stush. All right, so Brian, that's okay.
Okay,
Brian's,
mortal up.
It's mortal up time? All right, here we go. So let's hit the last 8 minutes. Mortal up. So we're going back to the very beginning slide that kicked off the show. It's the title of the show. And that is, it's time for us to team up. It's time for us to circle the wagons, if you will. Look, it happens in nature. So if you fall back on nature, everyone's screaming, science, science, science. Like they have Tourette's syndrome. Right? Like they could scream that one word, science. We believe in science, science. All right, so let's talk some science. If it's good enough for the bison, if it's good enough for the rhinos, I'm sure elephants do it. I know wolves do it. Wayne, I'll say quickly, I was hiking the braided stream one time outside of Denali in Alaska. It was getting late in the day. I was by myself. I knew I had I had a couple kilometers left, right? I had a couple kilometers left to make the base camp, so I was kind of moving around. And about 30 yards in front of me, a wolf just darted onto the path, squared its shoulders, hair stood up on the back of its neck, and it definitely snarled. So I stopped, took off my pack, put it above, right, like it was a mountain lion, put off my pack slowly, tried to make myself look as big as I could. Then she looked back over her shoulder, and 4 pups, whoosh, 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 bolted across the stream, right behind her, bolted across the stream. She waited for the last pup to get to the other side of the stream. She stared me down one more time, growled, and I was just transfixed. I was mesmerized. It was a beautiful animal. Growled at me one more time, and then off into the bramble bush. So I know it happens in nature, which means when we talk about mortal up, you and I get to do the same thing. And it may very well be the case that very soon we have to team up. We're going to have to circle the wagons. Who knows what will happen in the election? Who knows what will happen in the economy? Who knows what will happen with the Wuhan wheeze and the COVID-19 and all the rest of it? Who knows what it will come of? But what you and I do know is we stand a much better chance of confronting whatever fate throws at us when we mortal up once and for all, when we remember who we are, when we remember all that we're capable of, when we remember our natural resources. It's like a natural resource, like oil buried in the ground. You just got to tap it. You get a gusher. Your natural resources operate the same way. Your buried logic operates that way. Your authentic vigor absolutely operates that way. All you got to do is send a drill. All you got to do is tap it. It's not dead. It may be dormant, right? We talked about the amnesia earlier of me forgetting, or not even being able to remember that I built my neighbor's little brick step-down patio. It's that amnesia. I think a lot of us have forgotten. But when we team up, when we decide that we'll have each other's back, and that's what we want the show Mortal Up to be, or the Brian Brawdy Show, Radio Bry, the concept of Mortal Up, that's what we want it to be. It was so important to us, we moved to have it trademarked. But that's what we want it to be. When you remember who you ultimately are. No more amnesia. Philosophical, whatever you want to call it. No more amnesia. Remember who you truly are. And that's what the politicians, that's what all the cowards, that's when we talk about jousting with journalists, not all of them, obviously, not painting with that broad of a brushstroke, not all of them, but just the ones that belong in the Coward Chronicles. Those are the only ones, the journalists that we're talking about. But the politicians are scared to death that you'll act like a rhino. They're scared to death that you'll act like a buffalo, a bison. They're scared to death like you'll act like that wolf that I confronted in the stream. They're scared to death that you'll remember who you ultimately are because they know there's no way they'll be able to keep you down. They know there's no way they'll be able to throttle you back once you decide to mortal up. Right? So we're going to get out of this. Now the who, which is why I said, Wayne, you have to remember, I said months ago, the only suggestions I take about how to deal with COVID come from Who, the rock band. Now I'm reading the phone's been lighting up for the last couple of days that the Who says, well, maybe lockdowns aren't the best way. Oh, you think so, Kreskin, do you? Maybe lockdowns aren't the best way to deal with the COVID thing. But whatever they decide to, whatever chicanery, to use Joe Biden's term, whatever shenanigans they try to pull, you and I will rally to the challenge. Whatever they try to do to get fate to align against us, it's our destiny to stand, to square our shoulders with fate, to laugh, and to tell fate, you should have brought some more guys. Reminds me of that Burt Reynolds movie with Dom DeLuise. Smokey and the Bandit was the name of the movie. See, my memory's fine. Smokey and the Bandit, when they pull over at that bar. Dom DeLuise jumps out as Captain Chaos. Dun, dun, dun. Captain Chaos. But right before that, Burt Reynolds is going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12. It's like 12, 13 guys wanted to kick his butt. He counts the guys, and he looks at him, and as he looks at Captain Chaos, and he goes, 1, 2. And he turns and goes, you guys, you should go home and get some more guys. That's what'll happen when you mortal up. All the people that think they can push us around, all the maniacs trying to run the masses, all the people doing what we can day in and day out to survive. We'll be able to look the politicians square in the face. We'll be able to look the political pundits square in the face. We'll be able to look at fate square in the face and going, you should have brought some more guys. You should have brought some more forces. You should have brought some more power because we're about ready to bring the counterpunch. All right, I'm told we got to get out of here. Thank you all so very much. Wayne, as always, thank you. Couldn't pull the show off without you and everyone at Counterpunch Media. Thank you, brother, very much. I appreciate it. If you're listening on YouTube, thank you so much. Here on Facebook, thank you for everything. Brian says cannonball. Absolutely true. Darren says, love being barefoot in the woods. It reminds me of Sally Fields, but I guess that was your point. All right, so thank you so very much. If you're listening to the tape version, as I said earlier, thank you for listening on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and the like. Thank you also very, very much. And until we speak tomorrow evening, have an absolutely fantastic night all day tomorrow. And remember to bring your own bowl, to channel your natural resources, because they are scared to death of you. Wayne?
Thanks for listening to the Brian Brawdy Show. Until next time, get out there and mortal up.